Moving to Roatan, Honduras. This is going to be a crash course, about 10 minutes on how to move to Roatan and what to do. I also do 2 short form videos every single day, usually talking about Roatan, Honduras. Sometimes I talk about ski country, but for the most part, it's all about Roatan, Honduras. So first and foremost, before you decide to move to Roatan, Honduras, I would visit for maybe more than once. I don't know. I visited once and then moved right down. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I always say it's good to stay while you're on a tourist visa. Just stay for a little bit past the honeymoon phase, because vacation spots are wonderful for vacation, but is it really something that you want to do? So once you've already decided that, hey, this is amazing, I mean, it works for me. Some people really like Amazon overnight delivery and just can't do the sit and wait for 3 weeks for some forwarder to ship it to us from Miami, Houston, New Orleans, or one of the port cities to get to Roatan, Honduras. So the first thing that you do, immigration. Immigration, you used to get a 90-day tourist visa, unless you are kind of abusing the system, let's say. Me was one of those people, so I do have full-time residency. But when I first got to Roatan, I was on a tourist visa, which right now, if you fly into Roatan, they are giving, it's at the full discretion within that customs agent, and they do not have to give you the max time, which is 90 days. But if you fly into San Pedro or even Guatemala or El Salvador and come over to Roatan, you're much more likely to get that 90-day extension. And then you can also go to customs or at the immigration office and ask for additional tourist visa time. They usually give you 30 days for about $20, but that is something to think about. And you do have to get, if you are going to live in Roatan full time or, well, visit for extended periods of time, it is probably in your best interest to get residency, which is something that we have. They don't really do citizenship in Roatan. I'm sure that you could become a Honduran citizen. I don't know anyone that has taken that path unless you were born there and then you're a Honduran citizen. And a lot of times they also have citizenship for wherever their parents were born. So you have a lot of Honduran citizens with either American, Canadian, or European parents, and you can then have that dual citizenship. But if you're someone like me coming from the United States, immigrating down to Honduras, I am a full-time resident. I'm just considered a long-time resident, and that will be forever my immigration status. So I will just be a resident. And for the first 5 years, you do have to do bank deposits once a month, or that's how my residency works. There's several different types of residencies. I have lots of good attorneys that know a lot more than me. The rules are changing, or they're actually just being followed with the new president, so that we just have to follow the rules that were already there in the first place. But I digress, and I'm happy to send you the attorneys that I have used in the past to get that residency status. Residency takes about 9 to 12 months right now. So something else to think about, especially if you're going to move to Roatan, there are many documents that you do have to get, that you do have to have apostilled in wherever country you're coming from. So like me in the United States, the apostille, there's 1 per state. So you usually have to drive to around the capital to get it stamped, or it's basically notarized, but it's for Honduras. And so you do have to go to a Honduran consulate or the apostille office, which is a little bit of a pain, or you can just pay someone online, I think $200 to get for that pretty little stamp. But something to think about, especially if you're going and you want to move right away. Your immigration status will kind of wreak havoc. And I mean, worst case scenario, you just have to come and go off the island, and you just have to be off the island for 72 hours. So things to think about, but happy to send you over attorneys. But do keep in mind, it's going to take 9 to 12 months. So it's not just a, hey, we're just going to immigrate and it's going to be super simple. So the next thing is to rent or to buy a house. And well, as your realtor, I would say buy. I think it's good to get to the island first. rent for maybe even just a couple weeks, just so you get to know the different areas, because even West Bay, West End, Sandy Bay, they're all within like 2 miles of each other, but drastically different experiences. So just, you know, you don't know what you like until you don't like. Like, I love West End. I don't like that the cars, you can't drive on Friday night and Saturday night, and I'm just not gonna deal with all the traffic. So I just don't, well, I don't have a car there. I don't like having a car in West End. So, you know, that's why Sandy Bay worked for us. West Bay was also lovely, but driving my children to Sandy Bay every day was kind of a deal breaker for me. So you don't really know what works for you until you've been there and you've lived it, and living in a vacation rental or even a hotel is a lot different than a full-time residence. So I would say maybe plan to rent for a couple months, especially while you're looking. So when you are looking for a home, it is a little island. There's not a lot available at any given time. And then you also need to make the decision, are you gonna buy land, build exactly what you want, because that's probably gonna be a 2 to 3 year experience. And well, we can do a whole nother video on building. I am currently in my second build right now. It's gonna be the second and third. And let me tell you, I learned a lot, and what didn't kill me made me stronger, because there were moments where I thought I might die during that first build. So we'll talk about that in another video. So buy or rent, I think it's always good to make sure you know exactly what you want. And buying, it does take a little bit more time, because you have to wait for that right property, or the right property to be priced appropriately on the island, because sometimes it takes a minute for the sellers to decide that, oh, maybe I need to lower the price, or, you know, you just have to, meeting of the minds takes a little while. So the next thing is belonging. So the first time I moved to Roatan, I had nothing. I had a backpack. It was awesome. Now I have a lot more stuff, and 2 children, which it's mostly their stuff and their toys, if I'm gonna be honest. But so shipping or buying on the island, I say it's much, much easier to buy things already on the island, and you will pay a little bit more. They might not be as good a quality sometimes, or they're just very used. But even like furniture, you can have handmade furniture made right on the island. It's absolutely beautiful, and that's what we are doing for the second and third build. It's all gonna be custom furniture, or we're gonna do everything custom that we can, except for probably the couch and the mattresses, where I do ship mattresses in. It's just because I'm kind of particular about it, and I really like the memory foam, and those shrink really well, and so they're easy to ship. So now to the shipping part. I like to do trips to Miami or Houston. You can also go to New Orleans, or there's a couple other smaller ports around. You just have to find one of the forwarders or the shippers where their local ports are. Hide shipping is what I've used for large items. Max shipping is the new favorite. Dip, I think, makes everything so much easier, because they do everything for you. You don't have to have your own customs agent. You don't have to worry about the 33% duty, which is a 15%, and then a 17 or 18%, but it's how it's added up. Doesn't always make much sense. And heaven forbid they decide it as a luxury item, because then you are going to be paying up to 57%, i.e. wine, or, well, anything that is determined luxury, which once again is at the discretion of whoever the customs agent is at that day, and if they like you or not. So there's a lot up to discretion. So dip shipping does make it really nice. You do wait a little bit longer, and you are paying a little bit more for the service, but then you don't have to do anything. So I do a shopping trip to either Miami or Houston about once a year, stock up on Costco. That's where I buy mattresses, but that's because I get the memory foam ones that I actually buy them from Costco. They're about $500 to $800 depending on what size, and they're really compact and they ship really well. So that's just why I like to do that. Vehicles, you know, I've always just, nope, I bought a vehicle in Roatan. I bought a vehicle from the mainland, and then I'm also in the process of importing a vehicle. So that can be a whole nother 10-minute video just talking about the different importing rules, and I do have short form videos of these, but buying in Roatan is gonna be super simple, but you are paying a premium for that I guess, ease because it's already there. And if you are buying a car, make sure it has a clean title or it has a title and it's registered properly. Otherwise, it can go to the impound lot, and I don't know of anyone that's ever gotten a vehicle out of the import lot once it goes there. So be careful. Now, it's very unlikely it's going to be impounded, but it's happened, and it's just a matter of time until you run into an issue or something isn't right. So and that's the other thing, is I would do everything by the books right now. I'm not saying you didn't used to have to. I'm just saying just follow the rules and you're gonna have a much, much better time. So the next thing, if you buy a vehicle from the mainland, you get it a little bit cheaper. Make sure you run a VIN check, because a lot of the times the cars that come to the mainland Honduras, they're a salvage title and they've been refurbished. So keep that in mind when you are negotiating price. It is a refurbed car, and if you want insurance on it, you probably can't get it if it is a refurbed car, or you can buy a brand new car on the mainland. Kia has been great to work with. I think Kia actually has a little office in Roatan that they just opened. So there are options to buy new. If you do buy, most of the cars are used, but you can buy new at the dealerships on the mainland, or potentially that little Kia or Nissan on Roatan, or you can import your car like we are doing. We're actually driving it down. And the kicker with this one is it is an American-made car, so it qualifies for CAFTA, which is the Central America Free Trade Agreement. So that duty, you don't have to pay it. Now, you do have to pay taxes, but you don't have to pay that extra duty. And then also, if you have if you're a resident, I believe you can import a car every 5 or 10 years, I believe. I've never done it, so I've never had to use it. But I believe I'm going to use my residency and CAFTA in unison to try to reduce those import taxes, because I really don't want them to think it's a luxury vehicle. It's just it's a Jeep, wrong, right, or otherwise. If I was buying a car that I didn't already own, I'd probably pick a Nissan, just because everybody drives those and the parts are easy to find. So that's a lot, and that's a whole nother video with more details. These jobs, what do you do for work? So I'm not in Roatan right now. I am in Denver, Colorado. This is a rental unit of mine that I have on short-term rentals. So I do have a decent, I wouldn't call this passive income, but I do have multiple income sources. I'm a realtor in Roatan, Honduras. And then I also do some business in the wine industry. But I have multiple rental properties in the United States that provides me with that financial stability. And one of the reasons why I've had to leave a couple times, it's just because I ran out of money and stuff happens. Moving to Roatan, also these social aspects of it. Where do you want to live? What do you want to do? What are the things that you like? Do you like to golf? Do you like to swim? Do you like to play volleyball? All of those things are really fun. You can usually find a lot of information at the, sunset cocktail hours, wherever you're going. My personal favorite is Sundowners in West End. And the last couple things are safety. So you always want to make sure, for safety, moving to Roatan, it always seems to be a hot topic. I've never had any issues in Roatan. I don't do very much at night though, and I never carry anything of value. I rarely have more than $20 on me. And I don't have anything on me, so there's really nothing to steal. Maybe this gimbal that I have in my hand right now and my phone. What can I do? In each one of those topics, I will do more of a deep dive on once a week. And then I do have 2 videos a day that come out on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. Thanks for watching.